we are vastly approaching the start of the new NFL season. So we are going to continue our NFL division ranking series. We are continuing to a not so talented division with the NFC West. Super top heavy, but we got a good ranking and a good list for you. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off at the bottom, the worst team maybe in football, have a very strong argument for maybe the worst team in football. That
Caleb
is
Williams, tank for Williams.
number 4, the Arizona Cardinals. 4-13 last season. They were the 22nd ranked offense, the 21st ranked defense. Kyler Murray has a big question mark next to his name right now. He has had a lot of offseason distractions and questions of his commitment and if he's going to be all in on this team and playing football professionally. Tore his ACL last season, so still trying to see how he is recovering with that. And it's so far not looking great. Steve, I don't know if you've heard of this Clayton Tane, who is Clayton Tune. He apparently might be starting. There is no guarantee. Clayton, I can't read my own handwriting. I don't know if it's a Clayton Tune or Clayton Tane.
I don't even know who he is to begin with.
I'm gonna find out now. Clayton Tune, Tune, Clayton Tune. That's what I thought. So Clayton Tune apparently might start. There is, apparently. I didn't know this. I had never heard his name either, but I was doing some research on to see what's going on with Kyler Murray and what people are thinking. So this is a direct quote from Arizona's GM, Monty Ossenfort. We're not sitting there looking at a calendar, counting the days. They're rehabs. They're not a linear progression. There are good days. There are bad days. When Kyler is ready to be put out on the field, both physically and mentally, we're going to get him out there. We're not going to hesitate to put him out there, but until we get to that point where physically he's ready to do it, we're going to take it day by day and see where he's at. What that tells me is Arizona's like, yeah, we're in no rush. We'll see what's going on. We're not pushing Kyler to go back. Two parts of that I think are most important is they're waiting for physically and mentally. They're talking about Kyler Murray coming back from a torn ACL, and they're like, we're kind of looking to make sure he can actually physically play and his mind is there, which, like I said, I spoke to that when I started this segment. Still a lot of question marks there, but the good part about that quote was that it says that there is no hesitation to get him back out there. So I think they're still going to wait to put him out and start, but they're not eager. They're going to wait and see what's going on. Jonathan Gannon, a good addition to that team as head coach coming from Philadelphia as their defensive coordinator. We'll see if he can make adjustments to that defense, which is projected to be the third worst defense in the NFL, according to Bleacher Report. On that defense, J.J. Watt had retired, taking 12.5 sacks with him, and they also lost Zach Allen in free agency, taking 5.5 sacks with him. They got no weapons, no line, and again, we'll see if Jonathan Gannon can make adjustments. But Steve, I think without a doubt, this is definitely the worst team in the NFC West.
There's really not much else I can add. I mean, I'm not a big Kyler Murray guy. I was coming out of college. Just his game never translated. But he also, there were questions of him, not watching film, and they had to write it into his contract that it was mandatory for him to do film and stuff. So, you got a guy that it just seems like he just wanted to come into the league, play football, and not put much effort in. So, it's I think a lot of that is on him. But, yeah, Cardinals, they haven't been good since Kurt Warner was there, in my opinion. I'm not a big Cardinals guy. They're just bad. They belong at 4.
Number 3, we have the Los Angeles Rams. What a fall they had after they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Just an absolute shame. 5-12 this past season, the worst offense in the National Football League and the 19th ranked defense. All of their question marks pretty much fall on Matthew Stafford and what Stafford they're going to get. He has missed day 1 of training camp. They do not plan to have him miss any more practices. That is coming right from Sean McVay. And he also said that he is throwing 4 out of 7 days. That is also from Sean McVay. So slowly but surely, it seems like for Matt Stafford, which is good because they really have no other options there. And I think he was a big part of their success in the Super Bowl that year. Also, Cooper Kupp was also a pretty large part of that. I don't know if you remember him, had a pretty good game. Was he was Super Bowl MVP that year, right?
He won the trifecta: Offensive
Yeah.
Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP, and the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it should have been Aaron Donald. But yeah, so Cooper Kupp left practice on Tuesday with a hamstring injury. He is supposed to miss a few weeks, but we'll see where he's at as training camp and practice goes on to the start of the season. The big thing about LA and a big reason, again, why they won the Super Bowl was defense. And their defense this coming year is, if it's not new, as in new players on the Rams, it's young. Which, are those two things going to mesh well? I don't know. It's very tough. I think it's either going to be two polar opposites. It's going to be either a reset from last year where it's like, look, that was then, this is now. There's no like tied down baggage. They can start and grow new together and kind of have that, like, we're uplifting, like I said, that was the old us. We're this new group. Let's do better than them. Or like I said, it could just, no one has that chemistry, that familiarity. It could maybe start a snowball effect of no one really figures anything out or gets any momentum. And then will you get worse from last year? So it's either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. Health was a big concern last year. Still seemed to be a concern going into this season. So, but I mean, we can't say they're worse than the Cardinals. So we have them at number 3.
The Rams lost Jalen Ramsey in the offseason. The Rams still have Aaron Donald, where the fact that they were the 19th worst defense last year is pretty surprising due to them having they had Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, which are two of the top, probably 2 players at each of their respective positions. Do you remember the grumblings that we heard about Sean McVay potentially retiring at the end of last season?
Yeah, kind of.
So I'm interested to see if that, where is Sean McVay's commitment? Like, I'm not questioning his commitment to the team, but obviously he must have felt something within himself and the team that there wasn't a connection or something wasn't right. So that'll be an interesting dynamic to watch as well with Sean McVay and the Rams. But the Rams at 3, I had asked you if with Matthew Stafford coming back, the Rams could be at 2 and the Seahawks at 3. But with everything that you just said, and me doing research today at work and finding out that, they really just have lost a lot of the big pieces that they had that were like prominent pieces. Rams at 3 is a good pick.
Yeah. And spoiler alert from your take on the Rams, we have the Seattle Seahawks coming up at number 2. Thanks for that, Steve.
My bad.
9-8 last season, lost to the Niners in the wild card round 41-23. 13th ranked offense, 26th ranked defense. Can Geno Smith go back-to-back and having these amazing years? Finished top 10 in MVP voting and was the comeback player of the year. Geno Smith was also top 10 in passing touchdowns, passer rating, passing attempts, passing yards, and completion. What's the stat? How many? The longest completion in yards per pass. He was top 10 in that. Okay. So can he do that again and pretty much be the driving force behind Seattle? We'll see. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and I really like Noah Fant a lot. I think he doesn't get enough attention, but the defense just has to be better. It was probably the worst defense Pete Carroll has ever coached. They were the 3rd worst run defense and had literally no pass rushing. So if you can't stop the run and you can't stop the pass, how are you going to stop people from scoring? So their defense is what's going to hold them up. We'll see if they make some drastic changes this coming year, but still, I think they'll be good enough to be the 2nd best team in this division. We'll see if they make the playoffs, though.
So my X factor for this team, other than Geno Smith, is DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf last year had his 2nd 1,000-yard season. 2020, he had 1,300 yards. In 2021, he had 900. Last year, returned to that 1,000 yards. He had his highest completions in a single season in his career with 90 last year, and 6 touchdowns was the lowest he's had in his career. The past 2 seasons, he had double-digit touchdowns, but they're one of those I think they're definitely going to be a wild card team this year in the NFC, but defense wins championships. Like if you don't have a good defense, you're not going to win. So that's where Seattle's going to struggle. You know, is Geno Smith the kind of quarterback like Drew Brees was for a few years, where he's got a bottom tier defense, but he can come out and drop 45 on you a game?
And obviously, at the number one spot, the far and away best team in this division, arguably, I'm not buying it, but arguably the best team in the conference, the San Francisco 49ers. 13-4 last season, losing to Philadelphia in the conference championship game, 31-7. A top 5 offense, the best defense in the NFL last year. Brock Purdy right now is practicing on 7-on-7s with all the starters. Looks like he's going to have that job. I'm going to say this now. I don't think Trey Lance will be a Niner for more than at the most 2 seasons. Without that, so I think he's going to keep that job. It's been reported he's outperformed Trey Lance and Sam Darnold in all aspects, from throwing the ball, like how far he can throw it, hitting guys in their routes, not throwing picks. Yeah. He's just been dominating. That's what's been reported. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, and Kittle might be the best with whoever their quarterback is. Say Brock Purdy might be the best offensive core in the league. It's got an argument. You'd have to do further research into who else would be contending, but definitely at the top 3, I'm going to say undoubtedly. It's all quarterback questions. It's all going to be what is going to come out of the quarterback position, just like the rest of these teams in this division. Everyone has a question mark right now throwing the football. If they figure it out, though, there's no reason to think that the Niners won't be back in the conference championship this coming season. And the defense has literally done nothing but improve. They've either retained guys they've or they've added a big X factor, I think, in Javon Hargrave. He coming from Philadelphia. So, again, I think this is a no question, no brainer San Francisco number 1 team in this division.
To me, they don't even really have a quarterback question. I mean, Brock Purdy's the clear starter here. Listen, Trey Lance is going to go down as one of the biggest busts at the quarterback position. Trey Lance, he was the 3rd overall pick. He was a product of a great system that Carson Wentz built. When you play FBS, when you play in that lower Division I AA, you just don't have it. And Sam Darnold, I'm sorry, he just follows in a long line of USC quarterbacks that suck when they get to the NFL. Brock Purdy is the clear starter on this team. Mm-hmm. I think San Francisco is going to end up back in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles. They're the best 2 in that division, clear cut by far. And between 2nd and 3rd place, there's really, like, in that conference, there's really nobody contending other than those 2, the Eagles and the Niners.
Yeah.
I mean, the Vikings maybe, but you know how we feel about them. So it's like, I just feel like the Niners at this point, their goal needs to be to beat the Eagles. I mean, that's what they need to shoot for at this point. So Niners are the clear-cut favorite in this. I think 2 teams from this division make the playoffs. Maybe a sneaky 3rd if the Rams end up being something we don't expect them to be. I think that definitely the Niners and the Seahawks make the playoffs out of this division.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks will have a tough time. I'm not going to say they will or won't. I think they're, like you said, they're going to be fighting for a wild card spot, if anything. But the NFC is just so much weaker than the AFC. Like, the Niners and the Eagles are just so far and away better than any other team. Like, you made a good point. The gap between 2 and 3 is enormous. Yeah. Like, it's just crazy. So, to run back down the NFC West and how we have them, we got number 1, the San Francisco 49ers. Number 2, the Seattle Seahawks. Number 3, the LA Rams. And number 4, the Arizona Cardinals. That is your NFC West. Killing this segment series. We will find out what division we're going to do next time. Definitely going to do whichever one is the next worst. But that's what we got. NFC West. Hope you enjoyed. Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.